Hey everybody, Ron here. It's been a while since I talked about Shadowdark, and seeing as Shadowdark currently has a Kickstarter, Shadowdark is on people's minds. So I wanted to talk about the house rules that I use in Exile and Thief, my sword and sorcery game, and other standard Shadowdark games that I use, because one thing about Shadowdark and other old school style games is how modular they can be, how easily hackable they can be, so that you can suit the game to your taste to evoke a feeling that you believe accurately reflects the fiction that you're trying to go for. First, I'm going to talk about Exile and Thief. Exile and Thief is a sword and sorcery game inspired by Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser and Conan. So, it is not a standard Shadowdark game. You don't want these guys just dying left and right. At the same time, you still want it to be dangerous. You still want magic to be dangerous, all this kind of stuff. But you do want the ability for, high sword and sorcery action. So one of the house rules I use is grinder mode. And grinder mode in Shadowdark is with each successful rest, you only regain 1 point of stat damage per stat, and hit points equal to the roll of your hit points die. Spellcasters choose 1d4 lost spells to regain after a successful rest. I also use DM Scotty's luck dice instead of luck tokens, and I also do that in standard Shadowdark. I'll get to that in a moment. So DM Scotty's luck dice work like this. You start out with 3 dice. They're all d6s. You can use luck dice to add 1 or more d6s to a d20 roll. You can add d6s to a damage roll. You can reduce incoming damage by a number of d6. You can use multiple dice at the same time, and you earn a luck die by either failing a d20 roll, which once a round, or by DM reward. And I like this because it harkens back to my days of playing the Fate RPG. So I can certainly reward luck dice for people putting themselves in complicated situations, or just other reasons, good role playing, clever ideas, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that this works well for a sword and sorcery game, and I just love the system in general. A third house rule that I use is Cleave, and this is from Adventurer Conqueror King, basically. Fighters can gain additional attacks equal to their level, and this is only if they reduce a creature to 0 hit points, and that's, for me, those are creatures that are like 1 hit die or less, or in Shadowdark, it's, level 1 or level 0. As the fighters go up in level, they can eventually cleave up to 3 hit die monsters when they're at level 10. Priest thieves and other characters in that general range can make extra cleave attacks equal to half of their hit dice or level, rounded down. And then mages and characters of that type cannot cleave. Since Exile and Thief, I have a fighter and a thief. This works great. It really evokes the high sword and sorcery action, and the guys love it. Now, for my standard Shadowdark game, one thing that I've toyed with, and I've done a couple of times, a couple of different ways, is with failing spells. Normally in Shadowdark, if you fail to cast, you lose the spell for the day. I have played with, in my standard Shadowdark group, a failure by 3 or a failure by 5, making that spellcaster lose the spell for the day. That way it stings less. Spells are a little bit more reliable. If I use the luck dice system, which I have for the most part, people can spend luck dice to at least soften the blow. And I hadn't made an alternate decision on which I liked better, failing by 3 or failing by 5. I think failing by 3 will be better, because it's closer in line to what standard Shadowdark is. It gives a little bit of extra cushion for the players so it won't feel as bad, but they still need to know that they're going to fail. And I have not changed anything on a natural 1. Natural 1s still do what they do, which is cause a mishap. So there's always some level of danger, even if you can accumulate luck dice to use them so that you won't fail your spells by too much. Natural 1 is always going to fail. And in some circumstances, I just say, when they fail this roll, they just lose their die. They just lose their spell for the day. Because, I just use DM Fiat because this is a game. And I do it in situations which would make sense. So that's basically what I do for house rules. You folks may think these are terrible ideas. You may like them. I don't know. I want to get some discussion about it, see what you folks think. If you think it's a great idea, if you don't, if you have other ideas, but please, I ask that you please be respectful in the comments when we have these discussions. Just like the Shadowdark community has been a very respectful community overall, and it's been a blast interacting with that community online. Thanks for listening and watching, and until next time, see you later.